first, a quick disclaimer: StoryTrading is not an investment advisor. That goes for any of our guest speakers as well. Investing in securities involves significant risk of loss. And again, this presentation is being recorded, will be posted on social media. Last, maybe 2 questions for me. There's a ton of questions, but I want to get mine out of the way. What are some upcoming catalysts we can look forward to in the next, let's say, 3 to 12 months?
Sure. So obviously partnerships continue to drive the excitement. It's what we're working on now is current partners to start publicly announcing the impact that Kai has had and the impact that Kubient has had on their media buying or their media selling. That would be a big piece for us, as well as key hires. And then obviously the M&A piece is going to be pretty big if we get something done, in the near term.
Okay. And is there a single kind of inflection point way off in the future, whenever that might be, that you can identify to us to say, hey, if this event happens, or if we get to this certain level of revenue, that'll be an inflection point to sustained profitable growth for this company? I want to be able to, as these press releases come out, how do we as shareholders identify that and say, aha, this, inflect this company at that point? Like anything specific you can point to that you maybe have a hope of achieving in the next few years?
It's interesting you asked that, because there's a lot of companies in this industry that I remember when they started. I remember MediaMath, I remember AppNexus, I remember White Ops when they, 5 guys, 6 guys in a room. And I remember vividly when it got to a point where they were known entities. What I mean by that is, if you needed a DSP, where did you go? You went to the trade desk, you went to MediaMath, you went to Google. If you needed this, you went to White Ops. So I know it's a little bit of a round answer to your pointed question, but I think there's also things that we're going to look at, things like MRC accreditation, things like large brands or agencies saying publicly, we're using Kai, we're using Kubient to prevent fraud because we've seen the data and they do it better. And I remember when, years and years ago, when White Ops identified this one fraud and everybody was talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. And it was kind of like, okay, they've arrived. So for us within programmatic and ad tech, when we can get a large brand, an agency, a holding company to stand up and raise their hand and say, we've gone with Kubient because of this, that we can sing from the mountaintops of how great our technology is, and we can show people the tech and the data. But until a third party really goes on record, because again, it's a small industry, very highly politicized, everybody knows everybody. So for a company to say, okay, we're not going with this 600-person incumbent, but we're going to go with this company because they have better technology, to me, that would be a game changer.
Yeah, that's a very helpful color. And do you think that's something that could happen soonish, or do you really have to have a lot more traction? Is it like in a year's time frame, or is that possible? Could happen this year, something like that?
I don't want to, give exact timing, but what I can say is there are partners who use Kai that we would be incredibly fortunate if they were to come out publicly and say, this is why we're using it.
Cool. Great.
Because again, when you start talking about the PR machine, everybody wants to see the PR, but a lot of these companies, number one, don't want to go on record that they had such a big fraud issue. They had to go find a new solution. So it's an interesting problem we solve, but I'm confident that the partners we have today, one of them could be one of those catalysts, but we continue to add partners and tell the story and show the data.
Great, thanks. That's very helpful. Make sure to follow us on StoryTrading, YouTube, StoryTrading, Twitter. Really helps us out, increase our reach. So appreciate it if you do that. And thank you very much, everyone. We will see you next week.